have to understand restoring sanity means every institution in our country cannot be going on these ideological joyrides. We need to make sure that merit and achievement trump identity politics. We also need to restore a sense of normalcy to our communities. It is not normal to have millions of illegal aliens pouring into communities all across our country, to have drugs pouring in across our country because of the dereliction of duty of the commander-in-chief. It is not normal to have inmates running the asylum in American cities, where we have prosecutors get elected, oftentimes funded by people like George Soros, who will go into office and refuse to enforce laws that they don't like, and they let criminals roam the street, and average people are victimized. We also have to reestablish integrity in our institutions of American life. I'm a Navy veteran, had served a tour in Iraq, and it was something that is, what's that? That's right. It was something that I respected all the services, and I appreciated everyone who served. I was in a situation where, growing up, I was a blue-collar kid. My mom was a nurse. My dad worked to put ratings devices on the television sets for the Nielsen television ratings company, and I was never handed anything. I was always told, you're not entitled to anything. You have to earn it. And so I worked minimum wage jobs, put myself through school. For years and years I did that, partially because I actually believed in America, if you work hard, that's the way to get ahead. I'm not sure that that's as true now as it was when I was growing up. We need to make sure that that's true, because that's really the essence of who we are. And I put myself in a position where, I got education, I had degrees, I had the ability to earn a lot of money. And I had never had money before, but September 11th happened, I'm going through this, and I felt the responsibility to serve. It's an all-volunteer force, but you step up when the country's going through a lot. So I did, and I can tell you that even though I made way less money than I would have, the satisfaction that you get wearing the cloth of your country and serving with fellow patriots, well, that's a satisfaction that money just can't buy. And so I look back. I look back at that with a lot of fondness, and I know veterans in other eras look back and they're proud of their service, they're proud of their patriots who've served, and that's how it should be. Well, now you have veterans that will come up to me and they question whether they would want their kids or their grandkids to even join the military anymore. Why? Because you have woke ideology being put in. In the Navy, they're doing things like gender pronouns and drag queens for recruiting. You're talking about things like global warming and really being detached from the core mission of what our services are supposed to be doing. And that has caused, of course, warriors to leave the service. It's caused recruiting to plummet. When I was in Iraq, you would have people that would sign up knowing they would get sent to Fallujah or Ramadi or some of these places. Even when it wasn't going well, people were willing to raise their hand and serve. Now, the recruiting is abysmal because people want to join something that's meaningful to them. They want to join something where they can be part of pursuing a common mission. They don't want to be caught up in all these side issues. So I think we need to make sure that we restore the military to its proper function. All this politics will be out on day one when I get in there. We also need to restore integrity to our constitutional system. Our founding fathers created 3 branches of government: legislative, executive, and judicial. The people that you elect are the ones that are supposed to make the rules that govern our society. If you don't like what they do, you have the ability to send them packing and let someone else who will do a better job. Well, what we've been doing in these last few decades is some of the most important issues facing our society get resolved not in the halls of Congress, but by nameless, faceless bureaucrats who are issuing sweeping rules that have the effect to transform our society and transform the American economy. We need to reconstitutionalize this government. No social or economic transformation without representation. We return the government to its rightful owners, we the people of the United States. Our national affairs need to be guided by the pursuit of truth. Truth must be our foundation. You know, people can say what they want, they can throw up smoke screens, they can create diversions, they can tell lies, they can engage in deceit, but North is still North. And you can tell me that 2 + 2 = 5, but I know that North is still North. And we have to have truth as the foundation of everything we do. It's not my separate truth or your separate truth. There is a truth, and that was what we will be grounded in. We also need to ensure that common sense is no longer an uncommon virtue in our society. Let's make sure that the things we're doing pass the smell test with the average person. It didn't during COVID for a lot of this stuff. One of the reasons Florida did good is we were just relying on common sense and doing things that we knew would work. And so there's a lot to be done. But I think the good news is a state like Florida, a state like Iowa, proves that it can be done. This is not a lost cause. Yes, we're behind. We've got a lot to do, but we can do it. And in Florida,